In the stillness before the dawn, there is a truth that waits. It does not shout. It does not demand. It simply is. Like the breath that rises and falls without effort, or the wind that carries no agenda, this truth is ancient, yet more relevant than ever. We chase many things in life: success, love, peace, meaning. And yet we rarely pause to ask, what chases? It is not the world that overwhelms us. It is our response to the world. It is not time that rushes past. It is our mind, tangled in stories of the past and fears of the future. And it is not suffering that defines us, but how we choose to meet it, see it, transform through it. The Buddha did not promise a life free of hardship. He promised a path, a way, and that way begins, not with grand gestures or sudden awakenings, but with small, quiet habits. Habits that shift the mind, habits that soften the heart, habits that over time break open the shell of illusion and reveal something timeless within us all. Today, I offer you 5 of these habits, not as commandments, but as seeds. Plant them, water them with intention, and watch as something within you begins to rise. Let us begin. Number 1. Begin each day in noble silence. Before the first word is spoken, before the first message is read, before the to-do list is summoned like a storm, there is a moment. That moment is a door, a space, a chant, and most people walk right past it. We awaken, but we do not arrive. We open our eyes, but our minds are already running, grasping, judging, worrying. In that very instant, before the world enters you, you have the power to choose your mind. This is the practice of noble silence, not merely the absence of speaking, but the presence of sacred attention. The Buddha often entered the forest at dawn, walking with no destination, just the rhythm of his breath and the feeling of the earth beneath his feet. That was his cathedral, his sanctuary, and in that stillness he found what most never do, the quiet truths beneath the noise of living. When you begin your day in silence, even for 5 minutes, you are not escaping life. You are returning to it. You are stepping outside the marketplace of thought and entering the monastery of awareness. The breath becomes a teacher, the rising sun a scripture, the sensation of sitting a sermon. Ask yourself, who am I before the world tells me who to be? What am I holding before I've even lifted a thing? What do I carry that is not mine to carry? These are the questions that noble silence answers, not with words, but with clarity. It is in this silence that you begin to see your thoughts are not fact, your emotions are not enemies, and your worth is not measured by the speed of your productivity. To sit in silence is to reclaim the power of your own presence, to listen to the breath, to the beating of your heart, to the whispers of your own inner truth. Noble silence is not passive. It is fiercely alive. It is the warrior's stillness before battle. It is the monk's peace before the chant. It is the space in which you remember, you are not the storm, you are the sky. It moves through. Practice this. Each morning, do not reach for your phone. Reach for your breath. Do not rush to produce. Return to be. And slowly, you will discover that beginning your day in silence is not just a habit. It is a revolution, a quiet, powerful revolt against the noise that steals your soul. From this place, everything changes. From this place, you do not react, you respond. From this place, you do not chase, you choose. Start here and let the silence speak. Number 2, practice radical acceptance. What you resist, persists. This is not a poetic statement, it is a truth carved into the very nature of human suffering. We suffer not merely because of pain, but because we demand that pain be something else. We cling to what must pass. We push away what is already here. We live between craving and aversion, forever reaching, forever rejecting, never resting. The Buddha called this dukkha, the unease that fills the gap between what is and what we wish would be. And the way out of this suffering is not found in force or in fantasy. It is found in acceptance, but not the kind of acceptance that is weak, not the kind that shrugs and surrenders to despair. No, radical acceptance, fierce acceptance, the kind that sees the world clearly and opens its arms anyway. Imagine this. You are standing at the edge of a river. The current is strong. You can fight it, exhaust yourself against what already is, or you can turn and float with it, not giving up, but giving in to the truth of the moment. Only then can you begin to steer. Radical acceptance does not mean we enjoy pain. It means we stop arguing with reality. It is not defeat. It is alignment. It is the moment we say, yes, this is happening, and now I can choose how to meet it. You lose someone you love. You don't say, it's fine. You say, this hurts, and I will allow myself to grieve. You fail. You don't deny it. You bow to it. You learn. You are afraid. You don't hide it. You breathe into it. You listen. This is the path of awakening, not by escaping life, but by embracing it, moment by moment, without conditions. The Buddha himself did not teach people to transcend the world by fleeing it. He sat with sorrow. He walked among sickness, aging, and death. He touched the earth with one hand under the Bodhi tree and said, I will not move until I understand. That is radical acceptance, not resignation, not complacency, but the courage to see clearly and stay present. Can you do the same? Can you sit with the feeling you most want to avoid? Can you soften your heart in the presence of discomfort? Can you release the belief that this shouldn't be happening and replace it with this is happening, and I will meet it with grace? Acceptance is a doorway. On the other side is peace, but only those who stop trying to control the door find the handle. Each day, make this your second habit. Accept what arises, the weather of your emotions, the imperfection of others, the unexpected, the messy, the beautiful, the painful. Welcome it like a guest. Offer it tea. And in that welcoming, notice how it changes, because you no longer demand that it change. Let your mantra be just this breath, just this feeling, just this moment. And from that still point, the world softens. You will not be broken by life. You will be broken open. Number 3, walk with compassionate intent. Every step you take sends a ripple into the world. Every word you speak plants a seed of peace or pain. Every action, no matter how small, carries the fragrance of your intent. So ask yourself, when I move through this world, what am I really leaving behind? In the teachings of the Buddha, compassion is not merely an emotion. It is not pity. It is not sadness for the suffering of others. It is the recognition of our shared being, our shared samsara, and the deep, unwavering desire to reduce suffering wherever we find it. To walk with compassionate intent means to let every gesture, every thought, every decision arise from the fertile ground of metta, loving kindness. It does not require wealth. It does not require fame. It requires presence. A kind gaze when someone feels unseen. A patient breath when anger rises. A word withheld because it would cause harm. A smile offered, not because life is perfect, but because your heart remembers that joy is contagious. When you live this way, compassion becomes a force. It is not weak. It is powerful enough to dismantle lifetimes of hatred. It is the only force that can disarm violence, not with a sword, but with truth. The Buddha said, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal law. And yet, how easily we forget. We rush through days as if speed were salvation. We treat others as obstacles or utilities. We become so wrapped in our own storms that we forget Everyone else is walking through weather too. To walk with compassionate intent is to slow down, to remember, to pause before speaking, to breathe before judging, to ask not just, what do I want, but what do they need? And this begins within. You cannot offer what you do not have. You cannot meet others with gentleness if your own self-talk is brutal. You cannot love the world if you secretly hate the one walking in your own shoes. So begin here. Speak kindly to yourself. Touch your own pain with mercy. Forgive yourself not because you've earned it, but because everyone is worthy of it. From this ground of inner compassion, your intent shifts. You no longer act from fear but from wisdom. You no longer seek to dominate, but to uplift. You no longer need the last word, the sharp word, the clever word. You want the true word, the kind word, the right word. And what happens? The world responds. You become a refuge to others, a still place in a chaotic world. Your presence becomes medicine, not because you fixed everything, but because you showed up with an open heart, even in the smallest things. You open a door, you let someone merge in traffic, you pick up trash that isn't yours, you say thank you and mean it. You look people in the eye as if to say, you matter. These things matter. They matter more than you know. You are not here just to survive. You are here to bless, to walk as a living expression of love in motion. This is not idealism. It is realism. The kind of realism the Buddha embodied with every breath. It is the radical recognition that when we change how we walk, we change where the path leads. So today, walk with intention, not to reach a destination, but to leave light wherever you pass. Walk with awareness, walk with gentleness, walk with a quiet vow in your heart. May all beings be free from suffering. And know this, when you live this way, even your silence becomes a teaching. Number 4, turn suffering into insight. There is a seed hidden inside every wound. It does not bloom through resistance. It blooms through attention, through the courageous act of staying when everything in you wants to flee. We are taught to fear suffering, to silence it, to numb it, to push it into the shadow and pretend it isn't there. But the Buddha, in his infinite compassion and clarity, did the opposite. He turned towards suffering. He studied it, not as a curse, but as a teacher. He understood that beneath the heat of our pain is the fire of transformation. Suffering is not punishment. It is a bell, a wake-up call to the parts of you still asleep. A sacred alarm that says there is something here. Pay attention. You feel lost? That is the mind calling you back to center. You feel heartbroken? That is the heart cracking open to show you where it's been hiding. You feel anxious? That is your body begging you to return to the present. The Buddha taught the 4 noble truths not to burden us, but to liberate us, to offer a map through the forest of our despair. He said, 1. There is suffering. 2. There is a cause of suffering, clinging, craving, ignorance. 3. There is a cessation to suffering. 4. There is a path. And this path does not require perfection. It requires presence. When you hurt, do not turn away. Sit down with your pain as if it were an old friend. Ask it, what are you here to teach me? Perhaps it will show you how tightly you've been holding on. Perhaps it will show you the stories you've been telling yourself. Perhaps it will simply sit beside you and soften your sharp edges with silence. This is how suffering becomes insight, not by escaping it, but by entering it, fully, gently, with the breath as your guide. In the Dhammapada it is written, as a solid rock is not shaken by the wind, so the wise are not moved by praise or blame. To become wise, you must let suffering be your sculptor. Let it chisel away what is not true. Let it burn off the illusions. Let it hollow you out, not to leave you empty, but to make space for light. You will begin to see Every pain you've endured was a teacher in disguise. Every heartbreak was a doorway to deeper love. Every failure was a redirection toward what really matters. You are not your suffering. You are the one who sees it. You are the one who sits with it. You are the one who rises from it, carrying not bitterness but wisdom. This habit is not flashy. It is not easy, but it is profound. Make it your fourth practice. When pain arises, do not ask, why me? Ask, what now? Ask, what can this teach me? Ask, how can I turn this into compassion for myself, for others, for the world? And then listen. You will be amazed what you hear when you stop running. You will be surprised what grows in the soil of your surrender. Remember, the lotus does not bloom in clean water. It rises from the mud. And so can you. Number 5. End the day in gratitude and reflection. As the sun slips behind the edge of the world, the day begins to fade, not just in time, but in memory. And it's in this fading that the soul has a choice: to forget or to remember, to carry the day's burdens into sleep, or to transmute them into gold through the simple alchemy of awareness. The Buddha said, "What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create." And each evening, as the body begins to quiet, we are offered a final chance to steer the wheel of the mind toward peace, rather than regret, toward wisdom, rather than restlessness. Gratitude is not the denial of pain. It is the decision to notice what else is true. That amidst the chaos there was a moment of stillness. That beyond the noise a friend smiled. That even when you felt lost, the breath remained, faithful and true. To end the day in gratitude is not to pretend the day was perfect. It is to meet it as it was, and whisper, "Thank you. I saw you, I lived you, I learned." You don't need a journal, though one can help. You don't need the perfect environment. You only need a quiet moment to sit with the echo of your day and ask, where did I act with love today? When did I forget myself? Where was I kind, without needing to be? What beauty did I miss in the rush? What burden can I lay down now? And with each reflection, something shifts. The mind that was scattered returns. The heart that was closed softens. The breath that was shallow deepens. You begin to see that your life is not measured by your achievements, but by your attention, by your ability to be here, fully, even in the smallest things. You remember the conversation with the stranger that made you feel seen, the way the light touched the leaves at dusk, the silence between words with someone you love. You remember that you were alive today, and that is no small thing. This habit, done consistently, does more than bring peace. It cultivates the soil of awakening, because gratitude reveals what suffering hides, the sacredness of the ordinary. It teaches the heart to bow not out of submission, but out of reverence for this fleeting, precious existence. And reflection is the mirror that keeps us honest. It is the gentle friend that asks, not with judgment but with care, are you living in alignment with who you say you want to be? In the Buddhist tradition, monks reflect each night before sleep, not to obsess over mistakes, but to deepen their understanding. They ask, did I act with compassion? Did I cause harm? Did I speak truth? And whatever the answer, they release the day like incense into the air, fragrant, fleeting, free. You can do the same. Sit quietly. Name one thing you are grateful for. Name one thing you will do differently tomorrow, and then let it go. Sleep becomes not an escape, but a sacred return, a continuation of the path, a soft resting place for a heart that has walked through fire and still chooses love. And when you rise again, you do so with clarity, not burdened by yesterday, but enlightened by it, not chained by the past, but guided by it. This is the final habit. End your day in gratitude and reflection. It is the full breath that completes the cycle. It is the bow at the end of the journey. It is the gentle closing of the door with reverence for all that happened within. Do this, and your life will no longer pass unnoticed. You will feel it, you will honor it, you will live it. And in living this way, each day becomes not just something to survive, but a sacred text, a chapter of awakening, a prayer written in the language of presence. You are the author, and now you hold the pen. Final resonance. These 5 small habits are not magic tricks. They will not erase your problems or insulate you from pain, but they will awaken you subtly, powerfully, to the truth of who you are and what is possible in this one precious life. Begin your day in noble silence. Accept what is, with courage and compassion. Walk with intent born from love. Transform pain into wisdom. End each night in sacred reflection. They are not steps on a ladder, they are petals of the same flower. And that flower, planted in mindfulness, watered by effort, blossomed by love, will change the way you see yourself and the world. This is not a philosophy, this is a way of being. A path of liberation walked not once, but daily, through small habits, through deep presence, through remembering who you truly are. Awaken, begin again, and let each day break you open to the light.